been in there a ton, but made some plays down the stretch.
Yeah, yeah. That's the story. The 2017 here, Nebraska D, but they're working hard. The guys that go in can produce. They're ready. They worked hard. They practiced hard. I'm proud of them. And as you see, it's like an inch. Third down and 8 or 9 right there at the end, and he's just an inch away. And he's a wonderful kid, and he works hard, and he's competitive, and he was just right there. And then the game ends, and it's an inch. I mean, I don't know how much he surged in there on fourth down, but it's an inch here, it's an inch there. I'm proud of the way the players fight, the defenders fight. They strain, they keep working, they keep grinding, they keep next man in, and everybody supports him and tries to help him out, and they work hard and worked hard this week. So it's a disappointing loss, but I'm not disappointed in the players in any way.
Those two cutback rushing scores they had early
Yeah.
on, was that them making a good play? Was that some guys over pursuing?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you have, and the one in particular, pretty simple. You have your overhang, and you have the inside quarter safety, and they're just in tandem. The fundamental that they're supposed to do. That was definitely, a teachable moment, and which we're excited to teach. So it's just one of those clips to show and say this, in this extreme cutback moment, this is why we do this like this. This is the reason why. So you can't do it another way, even though it feels right. You're really not going to be a part of that play, most likely. And for the one time that you're challenged in 100, you need to be there. And but again, it's a teachable moment.
How do you maybe grade out the rush defense overall today?
Yeah, I mean, it looked okay. We want to go out there, and the expectation is going out there and stoning the opponent, and really just being on them. And it surely wasn't that. And it was good at times. And then there was a little bit of a crease at times. And for the lion's share of the game, it was pretty good and pretty stout, and the players did a nice job that way. Like I said, there was a lot of things about leading into the overtime at the end of regulation. We had focused on red zone. They came up with a couple of red zone stops, which was great. We had made a sudden change focus and not losing energy, and they had come out and 3 sudden changes, 2 sudden change stops. The pick 6 was a beautiful play. So there was a lot of good things in a highly competitive game where 6 inches, decided the day.
In the third quarter, you guys got some 3 and outs. What did you guys make adjustments at halftime?
We did.
And what were you seeing differently in the third quarter that helped you out?
Yeah, we had some menu items that we were going to be able to just kind of activate and create a little bit of an off-balance opportunity, and it worked.
Marcus New was kind of a quiet guy out there most times, it seems like, but today he played really well, showed some emotion. Just talk about the growth of him in your system and just playing at a high level.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that he's he's been healthy enough to practice. He's been healthy enough to practice hard. He's been really our top practice player. So no one on the unit and no coach would be shocked or surprised that he was going to have a good game. I remember talking to him this morning, just grabbing him and specifically telling him that he was going to have a really good game. And I believe in that. I believe in practice and then in-game production. and it's definitely shown up for him. He played a really solid game last week, and he played another really solid game this week.
At the start of the overtime, they got a few of those rushing yard plays.
Yeah.
Was that a different, I guess, play call than what you guys had done against him earlier, or what happened?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we weren't sitting in anything. You know, we had done a lot of part of it was to do a pretty good amount of different things against similar as like moments, and even on that, it was just like he just creased through a crease with friction. He's a great player, and like I said, it's and that's what I talked to the defensive unit about in the locker room. You know, here are 4 examples of 3 inches, 4 inches, 1 inch, 2 inches. And that's the difference. That's the difference in this league. And that's the difference between winning and losing, and moving forward. It doesn't seem like it would be real hard on an optimistic change here, flip the page, to find a few inches for each person. Me, find an inch, find a microsecond, find another second to help, and for the player to find another inch. You know, how do you get from here to here? You know, because that was the difference on the one play. It was here to here, and then the surge, a surge that surges for 3 inches rather than back for 3 inches, and then you're celebrating, and we run zone, kick the field goal and win, like it could have ended, you know, and it will, and that's the objective, and I think that framed that way, which is true, a young player in particular, and you're sick because you're looking at Chris, and you're looking at Joshua, and you're looking at Marcus, and you're looking at these guys, and you know that their time is expiring here, and that's what's sad to me. If my heart is wrenched, it's for the seniors. You know, their next to last time in this stadium, to have the game end like that, and they're going to look for inches for a few weeks, but a guy like DiCaprio Boodle or Jeremiah Stovall or Lamar Jackson and the Davis twins and DeAndre Thomas and Alex Davis and Colin Miller and guys that played a lot of football tonight. Markel Dismuke played every down. You know, it's real easy for them to find an inch. So that's where we're moving forward.
When you look at your run defense coach, is there something that you really like your players over the last couple of weeks to make a big jump in the way that they're executing your scheme?
I didn't really follow that. Could you just give me it one more time? I'm sorry, I don't.
Is there something you would like your players to execute differently about your scheme or improve?
No,
as
I mean,
pertains to the run defense.
Of course, yeah. There's a
Would you like
lot.
to see them do?
Listen, everybody's improving. They're improving. They're not improving. Every player's improving. And when you think about stopping, let's just call it stopping the run, right? So that requires a particular set of physical traits, and it requires a particular set of intellectual traits. And the guys possess those traits. They possess those traits. Some are at a level, let's call it 100 level of aptitude, and those guys will move to 200 level aptitude and 300 level. They'll grow. They're moving forward. They're going to get bigger and stronger and more physical. That when you hit a blocker and you knock him back or you strike and shed, you know. But I'm not displeased with any of the players at all. And there's not. There's a lot of friction. Even today, there was a lot of friction in the run game. You know, excellent back. And there was a lot of really great plays in the run game. Disappointed in the cutback. Those 2 cutbacks. That was disappointing. Those would have been easily routine plays to just, if the execution was there. So, but we'll just keep working and getting better. I'm not disappointed in the players, and I'm not. I love the players. I love what I do. We're getting better. The players are improving. The not to put any pressure on them, but like, let's just take Lamar Jackson for example. I mean, he's really finding himself on the field. He's really becoming a strong, prepared player. And even today, he had a few moments of where he could have done better. Like every single person on the unit. So, but he's getting better. He's getting better. I could say that for every single person.
When the last 3 teams you play, they really like running the ball. Minnesota, Penn State, even Iowa, even if they're not great at it. The other was Northwestern. Is there an element that you're going to really emphasize with your guys as it pertains to, okay, these teams really like to run it. Here's what we got to do in order to improve it. You said last week you don't want your defense giving up 300 rushing, which I understand. So what do you emphasize? Where do you want to see?
Here's what happens. So the resources in our package to stop whatever we need to stop are there. And then when you do that, you open up something else, right? So you call something to allocate and eliminate the run and expect another piece of it to operate. And they're not, we're not, our unit is not where down by down we can just call up and put pressure and strain in other areas. Because then you give up explosive plays in the passing game, and you can't do that. You have no chance. The explosive play pass early, which was incredibly unnecessary, was one of the really probably the worst play of the day. So, and that was a loaded box stop the run moment. And then that happens. So that's that deep aptitude to be able to execute the scope and full range of the package, which we're not at that point, and there's no reason why we should be at that point.
I'm sure you'd like to be.
There's no reasonable reason, considering where the defensive program was at, to believe that they should be able to do everything that needs to be done in the game to win the game. The strain is spectacular, right? So we can just go back and look at the game, and do you see the strain? I mean, do you see it or no? Or is it just something that I'm missing? Right? You can't play a game like that and win. Right? So the things that happened in the game create like an impossible circumstance to win against a great team, right? And again, just and with that, I'm not disappointed in any way in the players. The players are right where they should be at this point in their development. How about this one thing? How was the tackling? If you define good tackling and bad tackling, you'd consider about 10%, more than 10% of plays defended, and that many missed tackles, and I think 10% is a real number to say the tackling was good. And we were way below that. I mean, I don't have a photographic memory, but we made an emphasis point of tackling. They worked hard at becoming good tacklers, and they tackled well today. So we're getting better in a lot of areas. And I know everybody's disappointed, and so am I.
Anything else for Coach Diaco?
Thank you.